PSA for you. Those of you that may know, I just got back from a 1-week cruise in Mexico, and I had a very short conversation when I was in Ensenada with a military person who was dressed in military garb and had a drug sniffing dog, as well as a fully automatic rifle. And I said, hey, does that dog only sniff one type of drug or multiple? And he said, the dog not only sniffs 5 different types of drugs, but also sniffs, and this is what he said, I kid you not, if someone has more than $10,000 in cash. And I said, you're kidding me. He goes, nope, you can sniff if you have more than $10,000 in cash in you. And of course, because the guy has a drug sniffing dog and an automatic weapon, I didn't want to further interrogate him. But what I assume is because most people who would carry 10 grand in cash have $100 bills, that if you were to carry over 100 $1 bills, the dog would probably be able to sniff that too. But I was never aware that you can use dogs to sniff out someone who has more than 10 grand in cash. There's a PSA for
you. Can't, Steve.
Well, according to him, Brad, you can. So and I'm actually not surprised. And let me tell you why. And by the way, I haven't looked this up on Google. I didn't research it. Maybe somebody else did. But when you carry money, I think all money is made of the same, whether it's a 1, 5, 10, 20, 50, or 100. And if you have 100 individual bills together with the human sweat and being transferred from hand to hand, I would think a dog could, but go ahead.
So dogs are just trained in the ink detection. I think he was just pulling your leg. I've never heard of a dog, and having worked with a lot of dogs over the years, and I've seen them engaged, especially in the military. I've never seen one specifically be able to hit just 10,000. Usually they go by the ink because the ink is unique. The paper, which isn't really paper, but it's that scent between the cotton and linen of it is really what they target on. So they can detect it. Now a certain volume, maybe, but if I just decided to randomly take out $10,000 out of my savings and stuff it in a backpack and touch all the bills and put it up there, would the dog, and I remove, let's say, $200 of it, isn't?
No, Brad. I was suggesting 100 individual bills. In other words, maybe 100 $1 bills or 100, anything over 100 individual bills, the dog can detect. That's what I think.
Steve, it's because there's trace amounts of cocaine on those bills that are $100 and over.
Oh, okay.
So when it's like a lot of them together, the dogs they pick up on the cocaine traces, the very small amount of traces of the cocaine. So any money in circulation has very, very small traces of that cocaine. So
wow.
It's basically by coincidence if they land a stash of 500,000.
Well, and of course, I didn't even need to ask. The reason why he said 10,000 is because if you if you come into the United States with more than 10 grand in cash, customs requires you to declare it. I presume if you go into another country with 10 grand in cash, you have to declare it also.
I'm not surprised.
The different bills use different inks. The different bills use different inks. This is something, they actually talked about this on Animal Planet.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so there was a show on Animal Planet 3 years ago. They were talking about training, the dog's nose, particularly specific types of dogs, right? They're training dogs to sniff out cancer, for example. They're training dogs to sniff out different things. The thing with the money is a little tricky, but it's because the different, it's all cotton, so it's not really paper, it's cotton, but it has something to do with the denominations using different types of ink, and they train the dogs to sniff out different types of ink.
Thank you. David's new. Hi, David. You want to speak or are you good? David.
I'm
David.
good. Great conversation. Was a great critical thinking room too.
Oh, yeah.
And, appreciate everyone's comments. Thank you.
Thank you. Popcorn.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Violet?
Yes. Yeah, Violet.
Yeah, I'm not surprised if that would be possible. My research has been mostly into cadaver dogs because of my interest in forensic anthropology. But that research stresses the wide variety of chemical and pheromonal smells that trained dogs can be taught to recognize.
A dog's nose is about 500 times more sensitive than our human noses, right?
I heard 48 to 47, but it is very sensitive.
You heard 48 to 47, and I heard 500. Okay, all right. No, I don't know. I didn't do the heavy research.
As someone who gambles, it's an interesting comment that I hadn't thought of dogs being able to sniff for money.
Are you my gambling friend, David?
Yeah.
Hey, how are you?
No, I'm.
Oh.
Am I the friend you know that gambles?
I'm sorry. Did you and I exchange a couple of back channels specifically regarding gambling?
Not back channel.
Sorry, get that, bro.
Okay, this is the John Kitover Podcast, 9/15/25, 8 p.m. show. Follow us at John Kitover IL on X. That's John Kitover, K-I-T over IL.
So really quickly, Steve, just because I was curious, I went to the ASPCA website, and it says that a dog's nose sense of smell is estimated to be 10,000 to 100,000 times more sensitive than ours.
10,000? I thought it was just 500.
I thought it was less than that. Interesting.
Depends on the breed of dog.
Political.
Amazing.
Oh, nada.
I, of course, have a pit bull. Her name is Coco. I got her 4 years ago during the start of the pandemic at 9 months old. Got her from the SPCA. And she's been with me ever since. And can't say enough about Coco.
Yeah, one of my dogs can sniff when my blood sugar goes either too high or too low as well. It's kind of amazing. And she was never like trained. It's just something she's able to do. And when she does her thing, I go and check and she's never wrong.
There are dogs that are trained by medical professionals that can sense spikes in blood pressure and diabetes. This is a fact. And
right.
That's Dr.
Right. But she was never trained. It's just something she naturally does. I never had her trained for that. She's not, she's not a guide dog of any kind. So she's not trained in it. It's just something she does.
Hear you loud and clear.
I think that's why I brought it up, because she did it on her own, which tells you that, smart dogs are out there.
Absolutely. Well, I'll go to the green beans. You guys want to keep this room open for a bit, or should we shut it down? We've been going for 2 hours. Let's see. JCC?
I can go either way. It's been great. I enjoyed it. And
yeah.
Maybe it's coming to an end.
Yeah. Violet?
I myself have to get going on the school night, so
gotcha.
I will see everybody later.
Violet, can I speak to you in code for 60 seconds?
Sure.
The suggestions we talked about, have any of them been implemented? Yes or no? I'm going to guess no, not yet.
Actually, yes, we've ordered a couple of.
You've ordered a couple of suggestions, and you're looking forward to getting them.
It should be done in the group chat, text. Because now we want to know what the fuck are you talking about?
Well, that's the whole point. You're not supposed to know what the fuck we're talking about. Daryl, are you good? Should we keep the room open for a while?
It's up to you. I have homework, so it's up to you.
Yeah, Reverend Scott, Matt. We'll tell you what. I'll just go on mute, and if you guys can keep an eye, if I step away for a bit, just make sure it stays civil. Well, if anybody wants to come up, raise your hand. Brad, if you want to talk or go on a narrative.
Okay,
seems like Brad kind of ran out of energy here.
John.
He'll be back. Brad never runs out of energy. Go ahead, Brad.
No, I'm just working. I'm actually working, like having to pay taxes for a lot of people that want like free stuff. So, I mean, there isn't really, I mean, we could talk about dogs. I've seen them in search and rescue and in military applications. I've seen little terriers go into submarines and ship units to go search for contraband and things along those lines. We can continue talking about how everybody hates Charlie Kirk because he had an opinion. It depends. Also, I wish more people would actually go listen to him and listen to the context of his speeches and his engagements, and then look for the pattern and see why some things were just clipped and then put in. I mean, we've had that with notable other politicians. I mean, the left cried about that with Biden. The same thing occurred under Trump. We saw that multiple times. But son of a bitch. That's not going to equal out right. We saw this numerous times with multiple politicians and political figures. I don't know why it's not so different with Charlie Kirk. In all of it, and even scrubbing it through AI, I cannot find, nor can anybody else, find where he asked for implicit harm to LGBTQ members, Black people, Hispanic people, etc. Give your anti-Christian people. He didn't ask a single person. He didn't advocate for any of that stuff. He didn't even ask for a restriction on rights, except for gay marriage. He did say he doesn't believe it, but that's based on his Christian reviews. And he lives in a country where that is not necessarily his views will always be the interpretation of law. But he didn't agree with the law, which he's fully entitled to do so. Yeah, Brad, I completely agree with you. I've done a little bit of research, clearly not as much as you. And I can't find any quotes which are clearly undisputed about breaking the law or speaking up against like attacking or assaulting LGBTQ or preventing them from having the same rights as others. He was very intelligent, very smart, very coy, and he was very careful about his words. Someone once told me a long time ago, a lot of the time, it's more important what you don't say than what you do say. And it's more important to be aware of what you don't know than what you do know. And Charlie Kirk, I think, exemplified that. I've learned more about him since his death than I ever knew before. I used to get his emails like once, twice, 3 times a day. I just deleted them. You know, it was on my like delete list. And, but very influential guy. And even though I completely disagree with a majority of his politics, I gotta respect the dude.
How bad do you think
I just gotta respect him. I'm sorry. And unless there's anything else to say, I'm going to close the room down. So if you're on stage, you know, now's the time. If not, we'll close it down.
Real clown.
All right, then that will be that. Thank you all. This was my very first critical thinking after party. total success, exceeded my wildest expectations. Take care, everybody. Be careful on the clubhouse streets. And this room will self-destruct in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
And ran to women. Okay, so I'd rather be with the females in the military. Who's told Ron to put his coochie up?
That was somebody told Ron to put his coochie up.
That was terrible. Whoever said that.
Dang, Ron, you got an HPL. Let me find out you an HPL, Ron.
What? What?
You'll think about it later. He don't even know.
No
You know what I'm saying?
What does that mean?
Well, at least we know he don't know what it is.
I know who I'm gonna be hiding behind when all this shit go down. It ain't gonna be Ron. It's gonna be Red and Betty. This boy that threw down this weapon. I'm gonna tell you something. When war break out, I feel good about it. Okay. I'll be right there. We got Patty and Red on point. That's a damn fact. That is a goddamn fact. I got some. I agree. Okay, so let me give you guys a little bit of this. Maybe we can make some sense out of it, because I wasn't really thinking that this would hit the way it did, but obviously it has. And this Memphis thing, and listen to your president. So if you don't believe nothing I say, nothing Patty say, nothing Red say, forget Ron, he's not even in conversation. We're going to listen to our president give us a couple of ideas on how he's going to make this shit go down. And y'all listen carefully, because he's talking. Get your wallet.
Oh, I'm sorry. Let me go on mute. I'm in the I'm sorry, y'all. I'm in the nail shop.
You got your wallet out. Let me put the cash up in the wallet. Okay, hold on, y'all.
You feel generous.
She said, "Let me get my wallet out." Okay. All right, here we go. Just a little bit. Let me see if the speaker's on. Yeah, it is on. Okay, here we go.
Step by step, just like we did in DC, we have virtually no crime in DC right now. And we're going to keep it that way. So, Chiefs Capital, we're going to keep it that way, or we're going to federal.
Oh, sorry. Hold on, y'all. I have to turn the speaker on. All right. He said he has virtually no crime in D.C., and here we go.
If we had to, but we don't have to anymore because it's in such great shape. This task force will be a replica of our extraordinarily successful efforts here. And you'll see it's a lot of the same thing, although the numbers here are really something. They're really bad. Now, we did send FBI in about 4 months ago to work and improve some of the numbers down, and they did a great job, but we're sending in the big force now. We also sent them into Chicago on a sort of a moderate basis, and we brought down crime a little bit in Chicago, but we're now going to bring it down very big. We're going to be doing Chicago probably next. I was with a great businessman.
Okay, listen to this part. Y'all, please, if you're not listening, listen to this part right here. Okay.
Who was involved in all cities through his business. And I say, who do you think should be next after Memphis? And he said, sir, you've got to stay.
Go back a second. Hold on.
Down very big. We're going to be doing Chicago probably next. I was with a great businessman, a man who was involved in all cities through his business. And I say, who do you think should be next after Memphis? And he said, sir, you've got to save Chicago. We're going to wait a little while. But he said, you got to save Chicago. You can't let it go. And this is a very prominent man that everybody knows and is from. Another man in Memphis was saying, Bill, he was saying, very interesting, he's on the board of FedEx. And his hotel is about a block away. And he said, when I walked there, I said, I don't want to do this again. I never want to do it again. And they won't let me walk there. They take them in armored vehicles. They take the board members of FedEx in armored vehicles like a block away to the hotel. This shouldn't.
Okay, so y'all in Memphis. First of all,
Lisa, that's a lie.
All cities told him to make sure he saves Chicago. He has a business in all cities. What else does that be? And then he said
Why
that
do we care about his business?
The owner or the chairman of FedEx have to take a armored vehicle 1 block to his hotel in Memphis. Now that sounds like National Guard needs to be sitting in the middle. If this shit is true, come on, people in Memphis, is this true?
No, there's not even there's not even legitimate hotels. Yeah, there's not even legitimate hotels by our airport, because what most people don't realize is that our airport shuts down at 11 and FedEx completely takes over until 6 a.m.
Oh, Tiffany, you're in Memphis?
Yes, it's used largely for distribution, so you wouldn't even stay over there. All of this is just ridiculous, and I wanted to add some insight because I think there are comparisons to DC that people aren't realizing, because this is all a grift. So I don't know, most people they're so quick to say, oh, the crime is so bad, but what they don't realize is how small the population is compared to the cities they're comparing us to. Chicago is at what, like 2.6 million? We only have about 620,000 people that live in Memphis.
Oh,
yeah. So that's why he chose us, because anything that happens. So literally, if one person gets shot in the entertainment district off of Beale Street, it skyrockets our crime numbers. So if he prevents 2 people from getting shot, he'll say, look at that big increase that we had. And so that's why he is choosing us. Not to mention, we have a significant Black and brown population. So we are 63% Black, 10% Latino, and 2% Asian and Island Pacificer. I have a super, super small kind of like other category, but it's largely because our population is so large because we have so many people that work for FedEx, and they come from India and some of the other Asian countries, and that's the only thing that really boosts us. But we are largely a Black and brown city, and so that and not to mention, we have, I think the last time I checked, 25% of our population were under the age of 18. So when we talk about the crime numbers, it's largely the younger population that's tightly packed in certain neighborhoods. They're just committing crimes against one another. I sat in a meeting with Bill Donovan, and he is the guy that brokers a lot of the big business deals. He was part of XAI. I don't know if anybody saw, Dale is opening a plant here. And he is really, he's an interesting character in that, like, he champions Memphis, but he's also very critical. And a lot of the candid conversations he has with the business community and the mayor is really around what are the interventions that we can have. We're very clear on what works for us as a city, and living in a police state won't do that. We've had a significant amount of investments in like mentoring programs. We have 4 universities here, one of which is a HBCU. And every single university has lost money since Trump has been in office, because a lot of the money that they get, they've deemed as DEI. And so that impacts us as well as we're creating our education pipeline. So there are so many things that impact the numbers that you see, but he's also picking us because he's aware of these things. He's not just deciding to that the crime is so horrible he has to come here. He realizes it's literally going to take everybody just not leaving their home for 3 weeks, and then he can come back and say the crime has been completely eradicated.
Say, Tiffany.
Tiff, can I ask a question? Hold on. I just want to ask one question.
A real quick question, okay? So Tiffany, thank you for providing such insight. Can you tell us what the leadership has had to say about the gas turbines that Elon Musk has installed there?
That's what I was about to ask about. Yeah.
So it's very controversial. I hate to say it when people say like it's a needed evil. So part of it is it creates environmental issues. And also it's located really close to like a neighborhood that has like older populations. Somebody mentioned earlier about the blight. So one of the blight programs is where the city has all of these lots that people have lost because either like they've died or their families have left. And so like there's like this tax situation. And like I got a property, a plot of land in one of those neighborhoods for free, and I just put a community garden on it. So essentially those turbines, they found space like that. The problem is they're smack dab in the middle of people's everyday life. It's just dangerous to them. We've already had significant historical
the left is already shrinking, you guys are going to be non-existent in the next 10 years.
Okay. Well, anyway, I'd like to still say what I was thinking when you asked me what I was thinking.
That shit is going out the window. Go ahead.
I would still like to. Okay. There we go. So, when it comes to political and violence in America, nothing is new under the sun. America has been a politically violent time since its inception. We were born in political violence. And so any type of assertion that, like, now you're going to have to really be afraid of what to say because you can get shot out here, like that, someone saying that has, like, zero understanding of the country they live in. You're always supposed to worry about getting shot in America. We have a lot of motherfucking guns here. There's a reason that I don't build my career off of going around saying white people are the devil, because I don't want to get shot. And so I feel like maybe people who have been kind of brainwashed and honeydicked into believing that being an online public speaker means there should be an expectation of safety, maybe they should reconsider that, because in fact, historically speaking, going around saying